evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Economic Briefcase on Camnet TV. I'm your host, Lubinda Bazoka, and today with me is my naughty co-host, my very good friend, economist, Mr. Noah Japao.
Good evening, Doc. Good evening, viewers. How's been your day? How's been the week?
The week has been tough. Too much work. I think we're getting there. The weather in Lusaka is becoming a bit warm, so I think that we'll start thinking straight. So today, on that happy note, today we are discussing small-scale mining in Zambia. This is a topic that especially my colleagues who like moving on tippers without shades on the copper belt like listening to very much. And also, you have too much manganese, those from Central Province, Serenge, Mumbwa area there. This topic is of great importance to you. You need to stay tuned and listen and see how Zambians can participate in small-scale mining. Today with us is a guru in this field and the Vice President of the Federation of Small-Scale Mining Association, Mrs. Pauline MUNDIA. I don't know whether to greet you in Lozi or in Tonga.
I'm both.
You are both, huh?
Yes.
Same like me. Good evening and thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Amazoka. I'm so excited that indeed I'm part of this program because I know that this is a very interesting topic, and a lot of people ask questions, but I know that this program will provide them with the answers that they really desire. Thank you so much, viewers.
Thank you very much. And before we digest the topic, we'll go as per tradition straight into knowing what's happening in the money markets. Market updates, Mr. Noah.
Okay, today the 16th of June, the market updates, the exchange rates. So the dollar closed off trading at 16 kwacha, 97 ngwe. The pound closed off selling at 20 kwacha, 74 ngwe. The euro closed off selling at 17 kwacha, 17 ngwe. The rand closed off selling at 1 kwacha, 6 ngwe. Selected metal prices delayed by the day. Aluminium closed off selling at $2,592.50 per ton. Copper closed off selling at $9,230 per ton. Zinc closed off selling at $3,643 per ton. Lead closed off selling at $2,077 per ton. Tin closed off selling at $32,444 per ton. Nickel closed off selling at $25,857. Crude oil prices. WTI crude closed off selling at $117.02. Brent crude closed off selling at $119.06. That's all we had today in the market update.
I was just trying to check what's with crypto now. The U.S. markets are going mad, and the U.S. Fed Reserve has increased interest rates in record. Yes.
Since I think the 80s, is it?
Yes, since the 80s, yes, because of inflation. Are we seeing anomalies in the global financial markets? Do we expect a crisis?
Definitely, with what's happening around the world, we'll see a global inflation rate, and that affects everyone. And we see a lot of countries now are even banning cryptocurrency. You see, is it Kenya has banned the trade of cryptocurrency and other virtual or
probably to safeguard the value of citizens' wealth, not so?
Definitely.
Yes, we need mining, and on that note, we talked to the Vice President of the Federation of Small-Scale mining associations, and you know, small-scale mining is, you know, it's people don't realize. You know, I sit on Facebook, and we argue with people, and you know, just that I don't like giving too much information on Facebook, but people think Zambians are not mining, and there are no small-scale miners, and some people are not doing well in this mining. Maybe what is the overview? You know,
I think most Zambians only know about Lumwana, Mopani.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hamazoka. You know, usually when you talk about mining in Zambia, the focus is on the large-scale mining.
Miners, yeah.
Yes, and because you know of the contribution to the growth of the economy as compared to the small-scale mining. But then the artisanal and small-scale mining subsector, you know, I think there's need, you know, to have a bigger picture of what ASM is all about. Because at the moment, we all know that ASM is actually a poverty-driven mining activity. Because most of it is discovered by villagers, you know, by farmers as they are doing their agriculture activities. Then they come across the ore, you know, the mineral there. And of course, they don't even have time to have a license. They go for it. You know, they'll mine. Sometimes they'll mine out of curiosity. You know, they don't even know what they're mining about. But then when you look at it seriously, you know, artisanal and small-scale mining actually has the potential to become a cornerstone of rural economic development, because, you know, most of the activities are carried out in the rural areas. So if this is actually adequately addressed, you find that it can create a lot of jobs, especially in the rural setup, and also turn the rural setup into urbanization. You know, because of the mining activities. And then at the same time, the same ASM has the potential to increase the export earnings, because most of the mining products are actually export oriented. You know, in Zambia we have what we call the precious metals. Of course, we have this gold rush now.
yes.
Gold is a precious metal.
Definitely it is.
See, it's not like copper. Copper is sold in tons, but gold is sold in ounces, because something that is very rare. And then you also have the precious gemstones. Mr. Mazoka has been on the copper belt, of course, the famous emerald. That's a precious gemstone. And of course, we have got the other semi-precious gemstones that are all over Zambia. And then we also have these other basic metals, like, of course, copper, the cobalt, the manganese, the iron, the zinc. And then we also have the developmental minerals. The developmental minerals, this is now the phosphate, the limestone, the granites. And then we have got the construction minerals. So the sand, of course. Yes, the sand itself. The clay. We use the clay, you know, when we make bricks in construction. So all those, you know, are minerals that are available, and you find that the ASM are actually involved in carrying out, you know, the mining activities in all these minerals that are available in Zambia. But then I think our main concern at the Federation of Small-Scale Mining Association is the stagnation of the subsector. You know, it has been, you know, in existence, no, since the late 70s, maybe to be precise, in the early 80s. But then you can imagine somebody was born in 1980. You know, it's an adult. You know, some of them are even grandparents. But the sector is still there, and very unnoticeable, and not even able now to contribute effectively to the growth of the economy. despite the potential that is there. I think the question is, how do we unlock this? The potential. How do we unlock? See, that we're always talking about the potential. How can we realize that potential? How can it be visible? I think that should be our main concern. So I think something really has to be done, because there is need to graduate. Those that are in artisanal, which is the micro kind of mining, they need to graduate into small scale. And those that are in the small scale category, they have to graduate into medium scale, and then probably even up to large scale. But now, this does not seem to be forthcoming. There should be something that is not being done, either by ourselves, who are the key players, or the government at large.
So when you look at small-scale mining, my interest is to ensure that the person who was watching at home now understands and takes keen interest in this sector, and make sure that they benefit from the mineral resources that God gave them. There's artisanal mining. There's
small scale.
Then there's medium.
No, we don't have medium in Zambia at the moment. We don't have the medium
scale. So from artisanal, small scale, then large scale. Who does what? Who's an artisanal? Who's a small scale? And who's a large scale?
Okay. I would say that Zambia actually is a champion in the Southern Africa in terms of formalization licensing, because in other countries all over the world, when you are talking about an artisanal, is a licensed mining operations. But in Zambia, we have the artisanal mining license, and an artisanal mining license holder, the area of operation is about 5 hectares, and is renewable after 2 years. But then with the small scale mining license, the hectareage is 400 hectares, and it's renewable after 10 years. So these are the 2 categories in
Zambia. Where and what are people mining now?
In Zambia, most people are actually into gemstone mining, yes, because gemstone is everywhere. In Southern Province, people mine amethyst in the Matizia amethyst mining belt. On the copper belt, we have, of course, the famous emerald mine. And then in Iwapola, we have the citrine as well. Citrine, it looks like honey. Sometimes it's like, it's yellow. Yes, it's just like the chair there. It's called citrine. Yes, but that is in the family of amethyst. It is a quartz. The host rock, yes, the host rock is quartz. And then we have the tourmalines. In Eastern Province, and especially in Lundazi, it has got a number of gemstones. In Lundazi, we have the tourmalines, aquamarine, the garnets, spessartite, in one district. In Nimba, we have the tourmalines and the aquamarine. So you can see Eastern Province is full of gemstones. Mumbwa, just nearby here, we have got amethyst. We have got ametrine. Ametrine is half, there's a bit of amethyst, then there's a bit of yellow, there's a bit of purple. Northwestern Province, we have got amethyst. We have clear quartz. Mokushi, we have aquamarine. We have tourmalines, we have clear quartz, and we have a bit of citrine. Which other province now?
Central.
Yeah, Central. That I've mentioned about Mumbwa and Mukushi.
Yes.
Yes. Then in Mpika we have amethyst in Mpika, And then just yesterday, somebody sent me, pictures of corundum, which is coming from, the border. Yeah, the border between, Tanzania.
I live in Zambia. First of all, I don't even know what corundum is. I don't even know that we have it, but there are people that have it. They know it. They are mining it, and they want to make what? They want to make money.
Yes. So like that, in Muchinga, the Muchinga escarpment has got a lot of minerals. The Zambezi escarpment has got a lot of minerals.
So the Muchinga escarpment is when you are going to northern province. Northern province,
even I think even Chipata there. That Chipata, is part, yes.
Because I've seen when you are going after Mkushi, if you are going to northern province, there are some Chinese mining on the hill.
Yes. So now all these these two escarpments are very rich. So in the same escarpments you find the gemstones, you find the base metals, you find even you find gold as well, because there is this gold rush now.
Yes.
There is gold everywhere. Everywhere there is gold. Can you imagine? In Southern Province there is gold. Somebody just mentioned to me, because I come from Southern Province in Mapatizia mining. They said, "Oh, they are mining gold in those dry rivers. There is gold everywhere. The whole of Eastern Province there is gold. Northwestern Province there is gold. Mukushi there is gold. So in everywhere there is gold. Copper is everywhere. Who knew that there would be copper in Mansa, in Wapula Province?
Who knew that there would be copper in Mumbwa?
Yes. So, and one thing that we have discovered is that where the percentage, the percentage of copper is low, then there is the high grade gold. It's like gold, where there is gold, then copper is a byproduct. Where there is a concentration of gold, then copper is a byproduct. Because like in Mumbwa, people were getting licenses to mine copper. But now the artisanals, I don't want to say illegals, and they are doing some, plowing. Then they came across gold. And then eventually everybody came to know that there's actually gold there. And then there was a gold rush there. I think, you heard that there was some people who died there.
So are there local buyers who buy these minerals from these artisanal for the international market?
Yes, most of the buyers are actually foreigners. Like for the gemstones, most of the buyers are from West Africa here. Okay. But then sometimes buyers come from outside, like from Europe, America, and India. Indians, actually, a lot of them come here to buy. But like for gold, our neighboring countries, like Tanzania, Tanzania has been gold mining for a long time, and they know gold, and they know the value of gold. They have come there, they were in Mumbwa, everywhere.
But also we're just on Facebook.
Yes, we're just on Facebook. Yes. Other people are getting rich. Yes. And when they take out the gold to Tanzania, they claim it. It's no longer, when they now export it officially, it is from Tanzania.
It is from Tanzania.
So if, maybe this is your question, Mr. Bwadia has seen something greenish. And they understand that that's copper. What's the procedure?
The procedure is in Zambia we have what we call the mining bureaus. That in every province we have one in Mkushi, I think, which caters from Chinga, and then we have one in Kitwe, we have one in Southern Province. The Southern Province caters for Western Province as well. Then we have one also in Eastern Province. So if you come across something that looks to be interesting, is to approach the nearest would be the mining bureaus in your province. You can take samples there, then they will advise you. Then you start the processing there of applying for a mining license. But then you still have to end up in Lusaka at cadastre office. See, the license actually is cheap, but what is most expensive, it is the environmental project brief, yes, because that is a requirement. See, you know, at the moment, the global, you know, that they're interested in environmental management. And of course, ASM does not even care about the environment. All they're interested in is to mine, is sell, and then have food on the table. That's all. But now the issue of the EPB, which is the environmental project brief, it has become a barrier, you know, for a lot of people actually formalize, because you can only be issued with a license after the ZEMA approval. And the ZEMA approval is very, very expensive, because to start with, you need to engage an environmental engineer. It's very expensive. You know, these engineers are expensive. They're not cheap. And sometimes they just dream, you know, of an amount, and then out of desperation, if you can able to afford, you pay. But then how many people are able to pay a 30,000 or 40,000? You are a villager. Very few. So they would rather just go into it, you know, without even getting a license. And then after, you know, you engage the environmental engineer, then you should also provide the logistics for the mine safety engineer to go. At the moment, you can imagine, you know, with all the mining activities, you know, going on, not only at ASM, but then the large scale, because before it was only on the copper belt. But now we have got the new copper belt, you know, in Northwestern Province. But we still have one department, the mine safety department in Kitwe.
It's just only
in Kitwe.
Are these some of the reasons why there is stagnation in the development of artisanal to be in the small-scale mining and later maybe graduate to large-scale mining? Are those some of the reasons why the stagnation exists?
Yes, yes, those could be some of the reasons, because I mean the licensing processing is not decentralized. You know, because let's say if you are in Northwestern Province, and then you have to travel to Lusaka, you know, to get a small-scale mining license.
And top of
can you
that,
consider yes, the distance? Yes.
Plus huge fees you have to pay.
Yes, then you have to pay the huge fees, you know, for the EPB. See, and then you know it's not easy also to get the mine safety engineer, because there's only one department. But then, you know, all these mining activities are in all the provinces, the 10 provinces. So sometimes it takes a bit of time. So you know, it's a process, and it delays the whole process. So you have to provide the logistics there. They'll say, we are not well funded, which is true. The Ministry of Mines is underfunded actually. And you wonder why.
You forgot now you need to do 2 consents with the chief.
Yes.
One when you're going to explore,
yes.
The other one when you are going to go and get a mining license.
So the chief also, especially now, these chiefs.
Now those days it used to be 2 or 3 people.
Yes, these chiefs now, they know the value of money. No, they will just mention any amount.
Because they know there's a demand.
They demand anything.
If in your mining license there are 4 chiefs, you need to go to each and every chief.
You have to pay homage.
So apart from the decentralization of these, what did you call them, bureaus?
The decentralization of the actual licensing process.
So what else can be done so as to?
The other thing which is really a hindrance is the lack of adequate geological information. A lot of people don't know what is there.
Because as you've earlier indicated, we are only knowing that there's gold all over Zambia now, but this was not known, I think, 15,
yes.
20 years ago.
Yes,
We
nobody mentioned about it, apart from the villagers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So the lack of inadequate, you know, adequate geological information is not there. Just some 3 days ago, there's a friend of mine, you know, she called me to go to her house, just, you know, in Ibex, eh? He says, you know, every time when I'm digging, I come across these shiny stones. Please, can you tell me what they are? I said, this is clear quartz.
And we have a lot in Chongo, yeah, also.
Yes, you can imagine, it was like Ibex here, just near this place.
So what clear quartz, what is it used for?
Clear quartz is a semi-precious stone. It's used for jewelry. Huh? Yes, like what I'm wearing. No, this clear stone here, the whitish one. This is clear quartz. See, and clear quartz also they use it for treatment. You know, those who do for healing. I mean, our friends in Asia, they believe that if you wear a clear quartz, a pendant or a necklace, you know, you will not have a migraine.
Just here in Ibex?
Just here in Ibex. So I said, maybe somebody might have dumped the clear quartz here. So as I was driving out, I said, but where is this gravel from? Where did you get this gravel? He said, from the garden. I said, this is the vein for clear quartz. You see? So we don't have the information, the geological information is not there. See? So the mapping, you know, because I think in Zambia maybe only about 60%, I mean, geological mapping has been done.
How can we financially help small-scale, you know, miners to be able to also engage in mining? I feel pity for our colleagues that are mining manganese. I have 2 or 3 colleagues that do it, you know, at a small scale. They are making quite some amounts of money. They will tell you, no, maybe, I don't want to mention amounts, but they make a lot of money from the sale. How can we help other Zambians? Wakamshi, the villagers, Wawa is Kwahaye. I know in Kwahaye, there's a lot of minerals also.
Yes, there is.
But my people just sit in the sun. They sit under a mango tree. There's no grass anywhere in the sun. Just looking at the Zambezi. But they have a lot of minerals. How can we help those people? Maybe job creation is not creating factories, but actually helping those people to start mining.
I think to start with, we need to have an appropriate mining policy that is able to develop the ASM subsector. And anyway, it is good that the Ministry of Mines is in the process of coming up with another mining policy after 9 years. And we just hope that in this mining policy, you know, it will be a policy that will be in a position to transform the sector, you know, into something that is meaningful. When we look at the current mining policy, you know, it just talks about promotion. See, yes, promotion is very, very important. Because of that promotion, a number of Zambians have got licenses. But then, what are they doing with their licenses?
Do they have
the licenses actually added value to their lives? Have those licenses added value to the economy of Zambia? That should be the question.
Yes.
See, some of them, they have 5 licenses. Piece of paper just gathering dust. Because when you have a license, because for one to get a license, you pay money. No, you need to get a profit out of that money that you have paid. But there is nothing at all. Why? Because of so many challenges. And the number one challenge actually is the policy itself. See? Mining, whether at large scale or small scale, it is both labor and capital intensive. It's not like agriculture. Because in agriculture, me with my children, we can, you know, dig and find something, find food at the end of it all. But with mining, you need more people. You need equipment. Most of the operations for ASM, they're actually manual. But for us to make money, we need to at least semi-mechanize the operations. We are talking about exploration. Because for somebody to carry out, extensive exploration, you need core drilling. And core drilling is expensive. How many Zambians can afford that? Because, ASM actually is regarded as a high-risk business venture, especially for people that are in gemstone mining. You go to a bank, you can have a very good bankable document. But when you go to the bank, they will say, gemstones, this is a high-risk business venture. Why? Because you cannot quantify, the reserves. The reserves are not quantifiable. Already you are stuck. But now even for those who are in copper mining, still might the same thing. See? Because you can quantify the reserves for copper. But because, most of these ASM, they don't have the money even to come up with a bankable document. They're stuck. See? So we need support. This time, we need a policy that should provide support in terms of productivity. Because what kind of support do we need? Of course, mechanization. But we are not saying that they should give us loans, no. But just to come up with a plant hire scheme in the provinces, in the areas where there is a concentration of mining. And that plant hire scheme, people should not, have it free of charge. We are willing to pay, but of course a minimum. See? Because that's the support that we need. Then the others
should also come up with, a mechanism. They have ZCCM, they have I don't know which other companies. Maybe they should just hire a lot of geologists. We produce a lot of geologists in this country. Buy a lot of equipment. Let them go and help do exploration for small-scale miners. Then they'll tell them, here, this is your map, you want to continue. Because when that person is helped, meaning government has invested in money up front.
Yes.
Government will get it back through the taxes it's going to collect.
It's true.
Otherwise, we are just going to be having foreigners coming to come and do that the same because they have more money than Zambians.
You'll be surprised that the people outside there, they know the minerals that are found here.
More than us.
We don't know. I mentioned about corundum. It is somebody all the way from America who was saying, there's corundum here. I want to write an article about corundum and I want to include Zambia. I said, there's no corundum in Zambia. He said, but it's there. So what did I do? I asked one of the geologists, a government geologist. He said, yes, it is there, but nobody's mining it. See? So when we talk about the geological information not being available, that's where the problem is. Because in the villages there, some of them they're actually sitting on gold. But they don't know how God looks like. And that's the reason why ourselves as a federation, that's the role that we can easily, do once we have the information available. Because we are on the ground. So it's very easy to sensitize the people that are there.
Exactly.
See? But we don't have the information as well. So when we are talking about support, we are talking, it's inclusive of geological information. Because that's the support that we need. And the government is saying, we want to produce, is it 3
million tons
of copper. Yeah. So we need geological information.
Yes.
Yes. At the moment, we just talk about Northwestern Province as being a copper producing and copper belt. And recently in Wapola, I think copper should be everywhere. If gold is everywhere, then it means copper is everywhere.
What if a mechanism would be created where the government becomes an off-taker of these small-scale miners? Where they finance them and they become the off-taker of the products that are mined, and they see how they can break even.
That would be, it would be most welcome, because I know that, let's say, like ZCCM, because one time, ZCCM had engaged us. They wanted to work with us. And then they did a baseline study. They went all over the country. As we are talking about information not being available, nobody knows That information was not given back to us. See, we are still waiting. Because the CCM is there. See, and I think they have got the capacity to do that.
So when you look at basically in Zambia, I know you're not talking a lot about manganese.
No, I want to talk about manganese. If, let me talk about manganese. You know, manganese, I feel bad for the people.
Yes, even me,
I feel bad for the people that are mining manganese in Mukushi and in Luapola, in Mansa there. Because, you know, they work so hard, but they sell the manganese for almost for nothing. It's for nothing. But you mentioned about the CCM. The CCM can easily, you know, establish a smelter there. And it can be buying off the manganese, no, from the from the ASM there. It's at a better price. Because then the CCM now will be able now to export it.
I have a friend who had that machine, the X-ray machine, that will tell you this is copper and so much percent. This is gold. This is copper so much percent. This is gold so much percent. So one day this guy says, no, there's some stones I came with from the village. They are green. They are what? He said, that's manganese. Bring a test for you. It was 90% manganese. 90% manganese. In the world, Zambia, I'm told, has Zambia and I think Uzbekistan and Congo. They are the only countries with manganese.
Of course, no, that high grade.
High grade manganese, yes. Because low grade is not interesting to anybody.
No, they are not interested.
Yes.
But where do you think the Chinese are coming? You go to Mukushi, you see the number of Chinese that are there.
In Serenge, there is a lot of Indians mining.
Yes.
Manganese.
Why? Because of the high grade manganese that is found in Zambia. You go to Mansa, you find a lot of them. See, but then it's just a pity that we are not benefiting. Why? Because
a lot on Facebook.
Yes. Why? Because the mining policy, you know, it does not really favor the ASM. And the other federation, you know, would like to aid the government that they should just produce a mining policy specifically, not a standalone mining policy for ASM. Instead of just, you know, putting us together with the large scale. Just one specifically for that. You know, I want to give an example of Tanzania. You know, Tanzania came to Zambia. I remember, I think that was 1995, and we had a draft mining policy. They came, they got our draft. When they went back, they polished their mining policy. It's so beautiful, and within a short time, the development of ASM in Tanzania, it cannot be compared to Zambia. Why? Because they have got the right mining policy for ASM.
You're watching Economic Briefcase on Camnet TV. We're discussing small-scale mining in Zambia. We are now going to open the phone lines. You can call us on the numbers that are appearing on the screen. The topic is small-scale mining in Zambia. You can participate. You can also send messages on the numbers that are appearing on your screen. Mr. Director, do we have messages or we don't? First one, we still have low education or no education in mining in our country. Those are Zambians. One comment. No, it's low education.
You mean at tertiary?
Yes.
At tertiary? Or at the university?
In general.
In general.
I can tell you I have a PhD in economics. I've done geography at school. There was no course about mining. I saw copper and I knew what was copper when we were kids, because I grew up on the copper belt. So the mines, you know, in the railway line, you would put rocks. So because of like stones, because of the rains and what, the rocks would be washed away, and then the mines would be maintaining the intermine railway system that time on the copper belt. Yeah, that was moving minerals from the mine directly onto the principal line of Zambia Railways. So we would be going from school, you know, and these kids, probably their parents would say, "This green thing, this is copper." Oh, we have a first caller. I'll get back the story. Your name and where are you calling from?
Hello. Good evening, Mr.
Good evening. Your name and where are you calling from, sir?
My name is Mohammed. I'm calling from Osaka.
Yes, sir.
That's a real saying that they are not, we don't have anything in our education system that speaks about mining. There's something that has made me concerned about, especially when I go to, when we didn't start. That within Shantung very clear. When you go to Shantung, just those mountain areas, there is a high-grade copper. High-grade copper in Shantung. The Chinese are thinking that that's material. If you look at all those mountains that you see, I've been watching Godrat on DSTV. The big humanity comes up forth in order to extreme. The policies of the government, they are not good. They are not supporting us and more of their miners. I deal in digging and blasting abroad. And I did go to where there are people doing manganese copper mining. You find that there is too much copper mining in Masta, the manganese there. But the people that are doing this are foreigners. Why can't they empower us local people? That's the 2 days ago. One guy was shot to the Mumba because of the mine is gone. Is that true? But the foreigner will come and mine our own resources. Why do we attend the mining in Dara if our policies are bad? What do we go to learn from them? If we cannot implement what we are living from others, we cannot be poor when we have so much resources, but we go and learn, we go and hear the white people are talking, just from that privilege to be in that but we don't want to implement good policy. That shall not be enough to continue living like this. The government should come up with a deliberate policy to change everything so that we have local people. Our population should be benefiting from the resources. We need to take over the running of mining in that. This is what God has put in us. There is nothing that we are going to get down to Zambia besides copper mining, besides mining. Mining has been blessed with mining. If you look at that country, Manama was any mine. As we have mined. So we need to benefit out of it. If you look at how many people there to people what is there? What policies are they following there? We don't follow policies that are supporting the local people. The people mining the background is there. There are very few of them. The local people in the city are not benefit. What kind of policies are moving? If it's not the generation of the South, no that should possess the mind. If this is social, we need to change. There must be a mindset change in the learning of justice. So that we need millionaires, billion the Zambian miners. No, we don't to think that no, I have more to just man this that is all of my mind. When the universal is not to like this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So, that's a
yes.
pure Zambian country.
What was his name?
Mr.
I think
okay. Thank you very much. You know, I totally agree with you. You know, if we depend on these international organizations, they are here for a moment. And if we expect them to develop the country, I think maybe we'll be expecting too much for nothing. It is us, the Zambians, who can develop this country, because one, we know that the resource is ours, and since the resource is ours, we make sure that, you know, it benefits not only ourselves but the generation to the generation to come. I want to give an example of Ghana. You know, in Ghana before was the second highest producer of gold in Africa. The first one was South Africa. But now when they changed their policy, Ghana became #1. And they have got a system, you know, of monitoring each and every ounce that is of gold that is produced in Ghana, to the extent whereby now in Ghana the ASM contribute 40% of the total gold that is mined in Ghana. No, they have an organization like the CCM. And that organization, their job is to make sure that there is no gold that goes out unmonitored. And when you compare the ASM in Ghana with the Zambian ASM, we are far much below. You know, they are there, you know, because of the kind of policies that they have put in terms of mechanization, you know, for them to produce more, and also marketing, training. In Ghana, they have a university of mining, not a school of mining. And that university of mining, it is in an area where there is a concentration of gold mining. So now, with that university of mining, there is mining courses for artisanal, and some of the courses actually are in vernacular. Yes, to allow those villagers who discover the gold in their fields to participate, to learn more about environmental management, even the basic mining skills, as well as the business skills. There are those lessons, some of those lessons are given in vernacular. Why? Because they don't want anyone to be left behind. Okay? So it's just a matter of having the right policies. Here in Zambia, if we ask how much gold have we exported, nobody can give an answer.
Unable to account for it.
Yes. Because, I mean, there's no accountability. People come in, they go out with their gold, with the Zambian gold. And the villagers there, one, they don't even know the value.
We have a second caller. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, this is Kasoka calling from Solete.
I hope you have some copper for us. You can go ahead.
Yes. It is really very sad when it comes to issues concerning mining Zambia. And when you look at Northwestern has got a lot of copper, a lot of gold, and a lot of quasi, and a lot of other minerals. But when it comes to policy, as Mao is saying, there are very poor policies. I don't know what the government is saying, because when you look at mining, it is the only industry that produces a good income. But when it comes to the policies that are given even to the villagers when these miners go out there so that they start mining, instead of them giving them a certain percentage, but you find that they are just displaced from their places where they have been living for a long period of time. And they tend to be squatters. They go to live in other areas, and those people find that they are still in poverty, languishing out there. The government is just watching. We don't even know what the government thinks about it, our own people. Because the people...
So that,
you have lost him.
yes, but then on that one, I think it's true what you mentioned. We need the appropriate policy, because when you look at our present policy, there's really not much mentioned about compensation
of the displaced
yes.
people.
Huh? It's not there. See, so the investor decides what to give them.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to come up with the right policy on compensation. How do we compensate them? Something that is standard. You can imagine you being there for a long time and it is you that discovered those minerals.
Yes.
Huh? So since it is you that discovered the minerals, I think maybe even just become part of them, even just 10%.
They refuse.
Huh?
I'm told if it is our friends from the what? They don't want to have partnership with any
yes. See,
they want to be alone.
At least because they are the people that have discovered it. Give them something, even a 5%, because 5% of whatever million is a lot.
Yes.
And not only are we improving the livelihood of those people, but the entire community. See? But then, even in employment, those locals are not sometimes even employed because they are not skilled. They don't have the skills to work in mines. So that completely they lose out. They lose the piece of land and they lose everything. Okay. So let me just take you back. In Colombia is not for copper. What they do in Colombia, I attended a meeting sometime back in Brazil. It was a conference, and then this ASM, a Colombian was saying, he was making his presentation to say that in Colombia there is no poor ASM. Why? Because the government uses the mineral royalty. Part of it is used now to develop ASM. And then they will tell the ASM subsector, say, we are giving you this money for the mechanization of your operations, and the market is the large scale. You sell your copper to this. So they are given the equipment and there's a ready market for them. And then they are told, when you sell, remember to develop this area. You provide schools, and the government now will provide manpower. You provide clinics, and the government will provide manpower. So as a result, those mining areas are well developed. I mean, the money, the government can use the money from the mineral royalty. I mean, the large scale are paying mining royalty. So it's just a matter of policy. I'm always going back to policy. We can always find money to help. But then I believe that with the new Don government, because now they're saying that they want to empower Zambians and then they want to make sure that ASM is developed. We are happy and we are waiting. But then the key is to formulate a policy that is able, to develop the ASM. Because once the ASM is developed, our livelihood is going to change. The people out there are going to change. Because what is happening now, those illegals, that they call them illegals, when they discover, they go into it illegally, and then why? And the other thing is that they don't even take into consideration the mining safety. Or they're interested in Yes, money. They are not even worried about their own health safety. Huh? Whether they suffer from TB, huh? They don't care. The best mining practices are not even considered. They make those small tunnels like rats, you know.
Yes.
Those tunnels end up collapsing.
Yes, so that's why we are saying, I think there should be decentralization of the mine safety department. To help the ASM. They need help. We cannot just depend on one department which is on the copper belt. Because more mine engineers are being trained, environmental engineers are being trained. Where are they going? Are they going, are they employed outside the country?
They're all looking to be employed by the big mines.
Yes, so they're all employed by the big mines. Because even when you go to geological survey, there are very few geologists. And yet every year the government is training geologists. Where are they going?
A lot of them are languishing in the streets.
Then they should be employed.
Yes. Because there's a shortage.
Yeah, because there's a shortage of geologists. Before when I just started mining, the government will give us the geologists free of charge. But now you have to pay for their logistics. Because the government has no money.
You know this business. You even know the way they use logistics.
Yes. That's what they say. But now when there were more, there was now mining in Fanyama, where they are in Northwestern. They all went into private companies. So the ministry doesn't have many geologists. So the government has to employ more and more. And then, because now when we use our local to carry out mapping, then we'll have the information. Because these international people who come to do, whether they do satellite, whatever mapping, they keep the information to themselves.
You're watching Economic Briefcase on Camnet TV. I would like, you can call us on the number that are appearing on the screen, and you can send messages on the numbers that are also on the screen. Directors, show us if we have anything in the message front. Has the Federation made an effort to meet with the Ministry of Mines officials regarding the pricing of minerals in Zambia? E.g. manganese. Chinese are buying manganese at $40 per ton and 50 plus. Why?
Okay. I can answer it?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much for that question. It's very, very important. As a federation, we have actually engaged the government on the need of coming up with a marketing mechanism, because in our present mining policy, there is no marketing mechanism of any kind. So everybody has to fend for themselves. Whether it's the people in manganese, they have to fend for themselves. People in gemstones, we have to fend for ourselves, even in copper. And we just hope that with this new mining policy, there will be provision for the marketing mechanism, so that everybody, all the ASM, could sell their products at a profit. Because now when you mine, you need profit at the end of it all.
Director, next message. The country has many graduates who have done geology, but how many would want to become entrepreneurs? Most of them would like to look for white-collar job. There's too much concentration of mining only in a few provinces when the whole country has minerals from Western Province. Next one. Good evening. Where can one get a license for mining and how much is the cost? Next one. Why is it that there is no loyalty to emerald but only to copper? That's mineralogy. Evening, very important topic under discussion. Small-scale mining in Zambia is a disaster because of evenings. A very important topic under discussion. Small-scale mining in Zambia is a disaster because of lack of knowledge and skills on how to engage in this important venture. What is needed, as the madam has rightly put it, is policy direction and empowerment in terms of knowledge and skills on how to engage in this important venture. It is high time. It's high time Zambia started benefiting from the country's mineral resources. If this small-scale mining in Zambia is taken seriously, the levels of poverty will drastically go down. This is Mwenyasi from Luapula. So the other one was
mineral royalty.
Mineral royalty on emeralds. How much is it to get a license?
Okay, maybe let me start with the mineral royalty.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that question. Actually, the truth is that mineral royalty is not only for for copper. It's for all minerals, and you pay the mineral royalty, you know, at the time when you are actually exporting. So every time when you export, you are charged mineral royalty. You have to pay the mineral royalty depending on on the amount indicated on that export, and you have to pay it 2 weeks after the export year. So it's not only for copper, it's for all minerals that are exported.
Yeah, how much is it for licenses?
So now for mineral royalty, actually pay is 6%. It's 6%.
I think to get a mining license,
so,
it'll be like 1,000.
Yeah. So now for mining license, the artisanal mining license is almost 1,000, because it's about 900 for artisanal, which is 5 hectares. But then for the small scale, it is 4,500.
Yes.
But then there are other hidden costs.
Yes.
There are other hidden costs that are more than 4,500. And those the other hidden costs is the EPB, which is the environmental project brief, which is very expensive, yes, because you know when we put everything together, you know, concerning the ZEMA approval, usually you know it will be about 50,000. So now with the 50,000 and then the 4,500, which is 54,000. But the official receipt that you'll be given when for the mining license, it is 4,500. That is for the license itself. But for you to have a mining license, it's about 50,000 or more. And you know, as a federation, you know, we have engaged the government, of course, the Ministry of Mines, and this is what it's now under the green economy.
Green economy, yes.
The ZEMA is now under green economy. That, you know, for them to make sure that a number of artisanal and small-scale miners are able to have the licenses, we have asked them to reduce the costs, you know, for the ZEMA, because the ZEMA approval you pay 13,000. Now, after paying all these costs, now for you to get the actual ZEMA approval, you have to pay, and they will issue with the government receipt 13,000 kwacha. So we have asked them that probably they should just come up with a simple template for artisanal, a template that they can fill up and then pay a minimal fee, because then that way we are going to encourage formalization. At the moment, when you talk about formalization, they say, it's expensive. Me, I don't have money for ZEMA. That's the answer that they give us. Yeah. So if we make just the process more simpler and cheap, you see that a lot of people will be encouraged to have licenses. See, because formalization is very, very important in any nation, because it makes very easy for the government to regulate the sector.
I don't want to hold you very late. I promise just an hour. As we wind up, Mr. Noah, your last remarks.
My last remarks for
last question.
All right, it won't be a question, but as she's rightly put it, deliberate policy has to be in place, so as ASMs can be supported financially. So as they can be able to bring in a portion of their finances onto the onto national development.
As a federation, in terms of last remarks, what do you hope to see for us, small-scale miners?
As a federation, we hope that the government to actually have the final copy of the policy. We hope to see a policy which will attract even FDI. We need the FDI, even ASM. I mean a policy which will also attract the young geologists who are not employed, because somebody mentioned that we have got a lot of geologists, but then they just want to to be employed by Lumwana. They cannot go into small-scale mining. How can they go into small-scale mining if, as the elders, we have failed? The policy does not favor us. So when the policy starts favoring the Zambians, you see that along of a number of young men or women will go into it. How can you go into something that has failed? Who is interested in joining something that is a flop? See, everybody wants to be connected, with positivity.
Thank you very much for coming. You are watching Economic Briefcase on Camnet TV. Today we had Mrs. Mundia Pauline. She's the Vice President of the Federation of Small-Scale Mining Association of Zambia, and we were discussing the role of small-scale mining in Zambia. Next week, we bring to you yet another program. You participate. You can watch us on Facebook. You can watch us on Topstar, DSTV. Basically, we are live in over 70 countries, and if you go on the internet, we are live globally in all the countries where you have internet. Continue watching Camnet TV, because Camnet TV is not just another channel. Bye-bye.